Namaskar. I'm going to talk about procrastination and 3 kinds of laziness. You know, laziness is of 3 kinds. It's very interesting. Procrastination is the most deadly quality for a spiritual aspirant. There are many bad qualities, but this one is deadly because it is slow. It kills you slowly, without you even noticing it. If you are giving up on your dreams, it is painful. And I'm not ready to give up on my dreams. But procrastination makes it sweeter. I will not do today, tomorrow. Today I will not do, tomorrow I will do. Then tomorrow comes. It's okay. Still I have time. I'm going to do tomorrow. So this is how it goes. The brain is very cunning entity. It looks for cheap, easy, digestible happiness. So instead of doing something worthwhile, we are putting our attentions to the social networks, we are checking our messengers, we are playing computer games, and so many things are there to receive cheap dopamine. I just know the brain, what does the brain want? It does not necessarily want to achieve something great. This great achievement is not in the agenda, not in the schedule of this biological entity. This biological entity wants pleasure. It doesn't want any great achievement. So why should I do something worthy if I can do something and I will get pleasure? This is how we become addicted to many things. So this is the root of addiction, that the brain chooses the shortcut. That's why it is a good habit to have a certain plan for yourself. And that planning once is just like for the Cinderella. You know, the Cinderella, can I go to the reception there in the king's palace? Oh yes, of course you can go. But you have to do this, big list is there. So Cinderella becomes very motivated. Then she moves very fast, of course with some magical help, and that you're also going to get on the path of yoga. You will find that if you're doing something worthy, then magical, cosmic grace comes to your aid, and many things just happen by itself. It's one man, he was meeting me from the airport in Moscow, and while we were driving, he was saying, I asked him, so how you feel? He said, Dada, I feel wonderful. My life has changed since I started to meditate. My life has changed. Now I'm living. Now I'm 50 years old. I feel just now I started to live. I say, how so? Dada, I am in the flow. I say, what does it mean to be in the flow? How you can describe it? He said, you know, I move, and as if the whole universe moves together with me. Just everything in a proper place. Everything happens properly. There is so much luck. There is so much lucky coincidence are going on. And okay, that's good. So he feels he's in the flow. So when we do something worthy, we get, just like Cinderella did, we get some magical aid from the universe. And then Cinderella has become very much motivated. There is a big list of things to do. And then, after I've done all those, I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to the reception in the king's palace. So we have to do in a similar way. We have to do some planning. And also it is very important, when you plan, you need to break the big things into the smaller things. Because when the brain tries to weigh, okay, there is a task, it's very big, and then what I will get out of it? I will get this much of hormone, this much of reward I will get for this big task. And the brain is like, no. This is not a good bargain. So you have to break the big task into many subtasks, and very simple. Make it very simple. For example, I need to organize a festival. For example, I need to invite musicians, I need to arrange the kitchen, I need to arrange the transfer, the transportation, all these things I have to think. So if you think I need to organize the festival, you become very demotivated. It's a huge thing that you cannot visualize. You don't know what you need to do right now, exactly at this moment. So you are going to wait until the 1 week before the festival. But in the present world, mostly it doesn't work like this. This is how the students also, they study. They wait. Now, the last week before examination. Okay, now study. At least, I don't know how in other countries, but in my country, this is how we study. We wait, okay, we still have time. And then the time comes. This is because of the lack of planning. It's very hard. But if I see that I need to perform very simple and very small task, I need to translate this much of the text, that's okay. I can do it in 5 minutes. So the brain weighing the price and the object. I will pay this much price, I will get this much reward. Oh, sounds a good deal. So you break one big task into thousands of small tasks. And then when you have completed one small task, the brain gets the dopamine hormone, and we just feel, oh, wow, great, I'm progressing somewhere. I'm moving ahead. So this feeling is important. This is human dharma, because the human nature is to expand, is to progress, moving ahead, the forward movement. So truly, a person can be happy either in the situation when he achieved the infinite goal, or he is on the path of achievement of the infinity. So this is how we become happy. When we feel that I move ahead, when I progress, I feel happiness. I get the proper hormones. And actually this body, this biological machine is seeking for pleasure, is seeking for happiness. It is a biological machine. So we have to know how to deal with this biological machine. So give this brain a simple task, a small tasks, and then move ahead. And then write down all the tasks, all the things that I have to do tomorrow. And then next day, unless I have completed my list, I'm not going to receive something cheap dopamine. I'm not going to receive the cheap rewards for my activities. Okay, so that is procrastination. There are 3 kinds of laziness. So there is physical laziness, psychic, and spiritual. Physical laziness is the laziness of the body. The body just doesn't want to move. It wants to reserve the energy. I just want to stay. I don't want to move. And that's the quality of the body. Sometimes it happens due to the food. Food makes us lethargic. Actually, too much of any food makes us lethargic. But there is a certain varieties of food which makes the body consciousness very dark. And that is alcohol, all kind of intoxicants, including cigarettes, meat, fish, eggs, mushroom. So that kind of food makes body heavy. The nervous system becomes heavy. There was one time I was very amazed in YouTube, I think. I saw one kind of prank. The friends, they picked up their friend and somehow they put him into this floating kind of thing in the middle of the lake while he was asleep. And then somehow with a very, very sharp sound they woke him up. And then it was very hilarious when he just woke up and he could not understand how on earth I got here, why am I in the middle of the lake. It was so funny. So you can imagine what a heavy nervous system. The sleep is so heavy. I sleep just like as if I'm a corpse. I knew one person like that. It's just like you can pour the water, you can do so many things, sleeping. So that is very, very bad. This is very bad. This is a very bad quality to have. It means the body is very heavy and you are physically lazy. That the body will obstruct any activity. Physical exercises, proper diet, fasting, sports helps to overcome this condition. So this is a physical laziness. The body decides not to move. And there is psychic laziness. Psychic laziness is even more detrimental. Psychic laziness is that you do not like to plan things. You just want to move impulsively. Let's go, we will figure it out as we go. You don't like to visualize, you don't like to think. So what is going to happen? For example, you build something. Then while building you realize, oh, actually it shouldn't be done in this way. Shouldn't be done differently. Should be done differently. Should have been done differently. And then you have to break and make it again. So you do double job, triple job, quadruple job. But instead of that, you could just think and visualize and understand the entire picture, what tasks you need to perform. That is a psychic activity. Planning, developing the vision. Because when the vision is there, then physical work is so easy to do. And then also psychic laziness is a dogmatism. I learned something in childhood. For example, in childhood we were told that the amino acids, all of them are there in the meat, in the non-vegetarian food. And vegetarian food doesn't contain all the amino acids necessary for building up the necessary proteins in the body. So we believe, but that information is 100 years old. And even now, even today, respectable people, doctors even, they say these kind of things, that the survival is impossible without animal originated food. They say you have to eat meat, but that is a mistake. It's not like this. It's not true at all. But person is not ready to think, not ready to explore, to learn, to study, to experiment, and not ready to change his thinking or her thinking. So that kind of is a dogmatic flow of the mind. Rather I would say not flow, because flow is something moving, but dogmatic stagnation of the mind. My grandmother, she was a nice lady, but psychically, intellectually, she was very lazy. She wouldn't learn new things, and she was a religious lady with a very, very fixed ideas about life. You cannot convince her otherwise. She's just not coming out, even to discuss. It's like, nonsense, you're talking nonsense. So that is a mental stagnation. This kind of dogmatic thinking plus unwillingness to look into the future and to plan and to design in the mind. That is a mental stagnancy, that mental laziness. And needless to say, you cannot achieve anything in life. I mean, unless your life is very physical, but you cannot achieve anything worthy if you are not activating yourself mentally, if you are not planning, if you are not visualizing, if you are not creative. It's very difficult, becomes very difficult. But then, if someone is not accustomed to be creative and to find the new solutions, then the brain is just resisting that activity, sabotaging that activity. So we have to do it. We have to read, and especially we have to read. Reading is one thing, but thinking is another. You read and then you think. If you read and then you don't think, it's a waste of time. Not complete waste of time. Of course, what you have read, maybe 1% of that will be absorbed. But you read and then you think, and maybe 20% will be absorbed. And even maybe 100%, and maybe 150%, because when you think upon what you have read, then so many new things come. The creativity blossoms in your mind. So that is the habit. Think, become thinker. And then the worst kind of laziness, the worst of the worst, is spiritual laziness. It is a procrastination about spiritual life. It's okay. I will start someday. I will start doing meditation someday. Still I have time. You know, I'm young. I need to make money, get education, and build family, build house, and make my career. And about my soul I will think sometime later, when I will organize my life properly. Then I will think about also my spiritual development. And then you're already 65 years old or 75 years old. Okay, finally now you have time to think about spirituality. But then the body has no stamina. The mind has no freshness. The mind has become just like a glue. It has become stiff. It has become the personality. You have gone through so many experiences, and they're weighing heavy on you. It's just like is a burdensome. And to start something new, to start a spirituality, is next to impossible. Maybe religion is okay, but spirituality, when you're searching for answers, what is spirituality? What is the Atma? What is the soul? You are trying to comprehend the soul. It's very difficult. I don't want to discourage people. Maybe you are the person of 70 years old and now you're watching this video. It's like, okay, too late. I don't want to be the cause of that kind of procrastination. No. If you're old, if you start immediately, some results will be there. In yoga we believe in the reincarnation, that next life is going to be good. Then if this life you work, even 5 years remains, but you invest in spirituality, then next life your brain will be prepared, your thirst, your desire will be matured for spirituality, and you will meet a spiritual teacher in a very young age. So that's also, don't procrastinate. Okay, maybe next life I'm going to, not today, maybe tomorrow, actually maybe next life. That is the worst kind of procrastination. So we shouldn't procrastinate. There was one boy, his name was Dhruva. There was a situation, he was 5 years old and he started to meditate very early. He met a teacher, he learned meditation, he started to meditate. And he was meditating and meditating and meditating. And now is a story, okay? Now the gods, inhabitants of the heaven, they thought, oh, this boy is going to embarrass us. We will feel shame. He's doing so much spiritual practice. Hardly any one of us is capable of doing such rigorous penance and spiritual effort. So they're sending one messenger to this boy to convince the boy to do something different. Because, you know, you are the celestial and he is the boy who is doing meditation more than you. How you will feel? If you are proper celestial, you will feel happy. But those celestials, somehow, they felt very ashamed and they sent the messenger, okay, you go convince him. So that messenger went to the boy and he said, Dhruva, what can I offer to you? The life is so beautiful. You know, there are so many pleasures in life. There are so many, you know, toys, sweets. I can give you your own kingdom. You will be the king there. Whatever you like. Just why you insist on doing spiritual practice? Why you insist on doing meditation? And then he said, look, I don't know whether or not the sun will rise for me next day. I don't know. Maybe I'm 5 years old, but maybe I live today, maybe I die today, maybe I die tomorrow, maybe tomorrow will never come for me. So it will be wise to do spiritual practice today, not tomorrow, because this is the ultimate purpose of human life. This is the ultimate goal, to realize my spiritual nature, and it is the sweetest also. It is the sweetest. You will just marvel. You will just feel like, wow, what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, the lightness, the exuberation, the holiness of my body, the holiness and lightness of my mind, so beautiful and so divine. How come I'm a mortal, but I'm a celestial? I'm a heavenly creature. I'm drinking the nectar of the gods. You will marvel. Sometimes you will, because through the rigorous practice, through the effort that you do every day, you will come to feel that. Surely, it is guaranteed. So why we have to waste our life on unessential things and comparing to spirituality? Everything is unessential. Spirituality is the most hard, but the most essential. It's just like you need to do something worthy, some important job, but then you are sitting in the social network and then wasting your time, and you're not doing what is important. And comparing to spirituality, everything is like sitting in social networks. Even you do some very great things in society, it still doesn't count as important as spiritual practice itself. So the spiritual laziness, and most 99% of the human society are afflicted with spiritual laziness. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, after some time, maybe next life. I'm going to do meditation. I'm going to be enlightened, but not today, tomorrow. So, if you are getting inspired, I'm trying to make you inspired. I hope something comes out of that effort. If you are getting a little bit inspired, don't procrastinate. Do meditation now. It's so easy now. We have a basic course. You can go through that basic course. Just watch the first video of meditation steps with meditation. Learn meditation and do it. 5 minutes morning and evening. How hard can that be? It's not hard at all. And then don't procrastinate. Start doing meditation now. Now, today. Just you have finished this video, close the computer, and then sit. And you will feel that today I have done something new, something special. For sure you're going to feel that. You will feel that, okay, at least now I know how to meditate. It's a nice dopamine. It's a very nice done. But done is not like, okay, now I know how to do meditation, so it's okay. I'm not going to do anymore. Start. At least make yourself a commitment. I will do 3 days, twice a day, 5 minutes morning and evening. And after 3 days I will decide whether I'm going to continue or not. This is a good deal. And do not procrastinate to put a like. Maybe you thought that one day I will give a like to Dada, to Dada's video. So don't procrastinate. Do it today, now. And maybe you thought that one day I will share Dada's video. Okay, you do it now. Share it. Yes. Thank you for listening. I hope that was useful to you. Namaskar. And write in the comments something. Maybe you thought that one day I will write something in the comments. So today is the day to start meditation, to press the like, to share, and to write something in the comments. Namaskar.